Hey everyone, welcome to Tangle 2, in which I install my preferred development tools. In order to do all of these topics, we're going to have to do these things here. So the first thing is installing Homebrew. Homebrew is a package manager, a very Linux flavored package manager that allows you to install a lot of open source software that does not come from Apple. Now, before I do that, if you've never used a shell or a terminal before, don't be intimidated. It's actually a lot simpler than people think. So I'm going to run Spotlight here and then just type in the word terminal. And this is the terminal that is in macOS. It's not very good. We're going to replace it with another one. But before I do that, I want to change the default shell here. So shell is basically the environment where you run commands and scripts in the command line. And Apple comes default with ZCH. Now, the only reason they chose ZCH is because they didn't want to choose Bash, which most people use, because it uses the GNU license. Same reason they didn't want to use Linux. So because we're going to be using Bash, the first thing we need to do is change the shell by doing this. CH for change, SH for shell, -S, and then bin bash. And then I have to put in my admin password to make a system level change. And then just to make sure that it's working, I'm going to close terminal, run it again, and you're going to see now it says bash up here. It's also putting this annoying "are you sure" message that really wants you to go back to ZCH. We'll get rid of that message in a second. So next up is installing Homebrew. So I'm going to search for Homebrew. And the first thing comes up, click on it. And right on the home page, it has install Homebrew. It's got this cryptic line here. And I'm going to hit that check mark, which copies it to the clipboard. Go back to terminal and paste that with Command V to install it. Hit enter. So at the bottom here, it's saying run these two commands in your terminal. And so I'm going to copy and paste this. Just select this like this and then hit Command C. And I'm going to paste it, Command V. And instead of doing .profile, I'm going to put in bash rc. I'll explain this in a minute, but this is just to get us started. And then this just adds this command to a script that runs when your shell starts up. But it didn't actually run the command. So this second line runs the command. All right, so now we can use Homebrew. First thing we want to do is get a text editor. So I'm going to use the clear command to make this a little easier. And I'm going to do brew install Emacs, which is my preferred text editor. All right, next is I want to wire up my login scripts correctly. So now if you look at my files, I'm going to do clear and then lsal, which is a way of just getting it to look like this. But the most important thing here is that it's showing the hidden files. Hidden files in Unix and Linux have a dot in front of them. So if I do it like this, it's going to just show the ones that are not hidden. So as you can see, I have a bash rc file. And then I have some other things here. So what I want to create is a bash profile file. Now, it might be a little bit confusing why we need to have both a bash rc and a bash profile file. In short, bash profile runs whenever you really run your computer, usually anyway, and bash rc runs whenever you run the shell. So like if I opened up terminal again, it would run the bash RC file, but it wouldn't run the bash profile file. So this is confusing. So usually what people do is they just have their bash profile file call their bash RC file. So I'm going to do bash RC bash profile and just pick the top link here and just scroll down to get the good stuff. So it's right here. This is all you need right here. And so I'm going to copy that and then use Emacs and create a bash profile file. You can see it's right here, bash profile. And then just paste it. And then Control X, Control S, Control X, Control C. And now you can see if I do this LSAL, there is now a bash profile file. And it's going to run this. Now, just to make sure that it actually does it, let's open up bash RC and add something just to show that it's working. So I will say and echo is a command that just shows whatever is in the text. And then if you do nothing, it gives you a blank line. So echo blank, it gives you a blank line. So I'm going to close this and then reopen terminal. And then you can see it says, welcome to Big Fractal Tangle. So that tells me that this is working. Now the next thing to do is get rid of this warning. So I'm just going to search for the warning. And there should be a line in this text here. Actually, this doesn't have it. Let's look for the next one. There's lots of explanation in all of these things. I don't want this. I want this. This is what I'm looking for right here. Okay. So I'm going to open up my bash RC file and put this in because Apple insists on switching everybody. Let's try it one more time. And terminal. Now you can see it's gone. Now, I don't like Apple's terminal, so I am going to use iTerm. So you could just, it's free, you just go type in iTerm and then download and download. And then I'm going to copy it over to applications. And run it. So it doesn't really look all that different, but there's a lot more you can do with this iTerm. You can see that the shell is working perfectly. So I'm going to go into settings. And first thing I'm going to do is create a profile. This is going to be my profile. And so I hit a plus, tfal, and then let's choose some different colors. Like let's do smooth. And the text we're going to make a little bigger. So let's do 14. And then the window we want to make it bigger too. So I'll try 132 and 30. And then I have to make this new profile default. So now when I close it and then open it up again, you can see that it's a little bit more custom. I'm going to make this in my doc and then get rid of the old one and never go back. All right, so we have a command line shell that we can use. Let's look at the next thing we got to do. So I did homebrew, we did bash, so now we got to install Node. Node is a JavaScript runtime environment for a shell. So we're going to do brew install node. And it's going to reach out to the interwebs and grab it, get the latest version of Node, which also installs a program called npm. So I'm going to just try and see if that works. Yep, and then we'll just do Node as well. I'm mostly interested in npm. All right, so we just did that. Next on the list is IntelliJ. IntelliJ is an IDE that has a community edition and a paid edition. I use the paid edition, but let's just go there. I'm going to type in IntelliJ. You can use this for both Java and JavaScript development, as well as a bunch of other things. So even though it says that it's a Java IDE, it's their flagship product, so it has everything. So I'm going to hit download, and I'm going to get the Ultimate Edition, which you should at least do for 30 days. Apple Silicon. All right, so let's open it up and drag it to applications and open it. Yes, I trust it. I confirm, continue. Sure, I'll send anonymous statistics. All right, so you can either do a trial, or in the case of me, I have an account, so I'm going to just do JetBrains account. This is good. I'm going to exit. Reload it. Okay, so IntelliJ is installed. So we're going to go into IntelliJ at a later time. Sorry about my dog. She has a hard time with this bone. Let's get rid of Safari. All right. So the next thing on my list is Postman. I want to make a Postman account and install it. So I'm going to sign up for free here in my big fractal Tangle. And create username big fractal and make a password. Create a free account. And we're going to just call it a teacher. I don't know. All right, I'll just say full stack developer. All right, so it gives me a whole bunch of sample stuff here when you first sign in, and I don't really need any of this stuff. You can certainly explore it on your own, but if you want to clear out the cruft, you simply go up here to workspaces and do create workspace and make it a blank workspace. It's called Tangle. Personal. And then you can see that it's now blank, and I can go into view all workspaces. I think, no, I already got rid of it. Okay, that's cool. All right, so now that I have a workspace, I'm going to bookmark it. Now you can use this web app to do all of your Postman work, but you're going to want to install another thing, which is called the Postman agent, and download that and run it, and make sure that it runs whenever you Start your computer. All right, so I'm going to put the Postman agent into my applications and then run it. It's a little spaceman. And you can see it just pops up here. And there's not much more to it than that, except I'm going to do launch at startup. So now what this does is it allows the web app to connect with your local host, your local testing. Now the other thing that you can do, which I quite like, is get the desktop application. So I'm going to do download Postman. So sometimes I do either or. The nice thing is that all of your information is saved within the Postman service, so it doesn't matter whether you use web browser and the Postman agent or just the app down below. So I'm gonna run this, drop it into my applications, and so now we have both. And I'm gonna drag it down here. And run it. And then looks like I'm already, it's got my old one in there. So I'm going to sign out here and log in again as my new account. All right, what do we got left? So we basically covered everything here, and we can talk about these other things in another video, but we got our environment set up. The last thing I'm going to do is go into the command line and make a work directory. This is where all of our version control files are going to be. So I'm just going to do make dir work. And so I'm going to go into work. And then I'm going to make a project directory, which is, we're going to call it Tangle. And there's Tangle. And that'll be our starting point. Before I go, I want to start using some aliases. So I'm going to go back to my home directory, cd, emacs bash rc, and we're going to start putting some aliases in. So the first alias I'm going to do is work, and that is going to just change to the work directory. Now the shortcut for going to the home directory is a little tilde sign, and then I type in work, and then usually I'll do an ls when I get there. And then likewise, I'm going to do a Tangle and cd work Tangle ls. All right, to make that current, I just need to source it, which is dot space dot bash rc, and then I can type work, and it's going to show me in the work directory, which you can see here. And then if I do Tangle, it's going to show me in the Tangle directory. And that's where all of my source files are going to be. All right, that's the end of this episode.